All right, let's go ahead and get started here. All right, we got our M4. Let's see. Masked Man. Why not? Oh, there's a DLC pack, right? That I just totally forgot about. Hold on here. Did it already release? Hold on, this might be a restart. Did it come out already? Okay, it's not out yet. Okay, that's good to know. That's good. Okay. I saw the dev post. I wasn't sure if that was like already out or not. Hey Josh, I'm GameShift. RPD, why not? Let's just go right into suffering. I enjoy suffering, don't you? That looks positively cursed. Hey, Red. It looks so cursed. Hey, Alex. 762... Aramaki. Let's go ahead and load on up. I know this is not going to go well already. The RPD never goes well. Should we make it worse by going to Babel? Now, let's start easy. Let's just kill some water scavs. No. No game shift. When I logged in today, I had the VKS on from last stream. We already did our mandatory VKS today. We had it equipped right off the rip. You want to be able to kill things. I want to be able to shoot back and not be reloading constantly. I mean, oh, you can't get all you can't go off full auto here. Okay, there ain't no tapping here.
We decide what happens next.
I don't know how the accuracy is. Let's wait for some water scavs to kill first. It's just a strictly worse RPK, right? Only 75 rounds, less attachments. Probably gonna be terrible recoil, or rather, bloom. No, that's the no shooter. Oh god, the bullet spread. It's also, you can see the impacts are going like way below where we're actually aiming. It's like a throwback to the OG game. Hey, Agent. Because that was a pretty common thing back with the prior ADSing. Like way back in the day. Alright. 5 down, 15 or 10 more to go. The new skins do look cool too, I will say. I'm actually kind of pumped for them. Well, I don't really... The teddy bear gunhead looks funny. The gunhead one actually looks genuinely cool though.
What happens next?
I might actually consistently rock the gunhead or the masked man one. What are you... Brother, you're gonna get cancer. I would not be staying in that water fight. I saved your life by killing you before you got cancer. You're welcome. It's gonna be like one of those AIs that thinks they're children. Speaking of that, anyone watching the new Alien FX series? I've been enjoying that. There's been a few complaints here and there. I do like understand that like there is that whole shtick in episode 2. Oh, actually, I won't do spoilers. I think they did the best they could to put the characters that needed to be in certain spots in certain spots. And I think it does. I'm trying not to spoil too much, but I do think, like, I can see why people might take issue with it, but I don't think it's like the classic horror trope of like belligerent idiocy. It's more like understandable naivete. But it's been good so far. The production quality's been amazing on that show, actually, genuinely. It's been kind of a slow burn, I will say, but like other than that. I need to watch Peacekeeper or Peacemaker, the Peace Show on HBO later, or Max, whatever they fucking call it now. Who knows? There's a new it's called Alien Earth. It's on FX, so that's on Hulu, or it's on the FX channel if you have television. Though I heard that Hulu is going away just for Disney. Like, it's just gonna be Disney's platform now, so I don't know when that takes effect. But it's like an alien show in the Alien universe. It's called Alien Earth, and it's like the production quality is really good so far. The story, we're still like it's 3 episodes in. It's a little slow, but still pretty good. The world building is pretty good too in it. But the production design is amazing. They, if you're familiar with Aliens, they actually do, I think it's, I'm not sure if it's human or animatronic, but they use like an they don't use CGI for the alien, at least the first alien that we see. Oh my god, the accuracy is so bad.
Don't miss.
Let me up. Here we go. Yeah, it's nice. I don't like it's definitely one of those things where consolidation actually does save you money, but like at the point that where they were consolidating, they basically had a bundle anyway where you're already saving money. But no, yeah. Cause that was that like the last year or two, right? We got into that issue where like, holy shit, that's a lot of red dots. Oh my god, there's so many red fucking dots. What did I do to cause this? Oh shit, I'm dead. God, they're so fast and so silent. And they all aggroed so quickly. I look down, like 6 red dots. I look up, 6 more red dots. And then I get Mach 1'd by a Vepr water thief that's completely silent. You hate to see it. Also, what did we learn? The RPD is awful. Don't use it. Or like, really just any LMG, to be honest. Just don't use LMGs. Enoughs. No, Water Wars is always a great way to start the stream because it's murder and it's usually you can get punked real hard by water thieves. I do hope they focus on some sound effects for like movement in the future because, or like 2 things. The sprinting on enemies ever since they detached subtick feels a bit too strong. I would probably slow them down a bit and make them even noisier than they should be when running. And 2 is just actually making them noisier when they're running around. Like right now, like so many enemy types are just absolutely silent while they're carrying full rucksacks or full gear. It should be a very noisy experience getting flanked by a guy wearing a giant backpack of metal. Alright, let's run it back and get my revenge. Hey, MK. I mean, MK, I don't really mind skins too much in early access, just because they have excessive artistic, is that, yeah, talent. No, they, like, ever since they attached the tick rate from enemy movement, they have been very quick. Well, but the problem is, though, is that the more units, it regards like actual implementation, right? Like what they're doing with the skins is just creating a new skin for an already existing skeleton and then just letting you choose that skeleton, right? Like there's no extra work outside of just creating the actual model. It's basically almost to the point where it's drag and drop to some extent. But like when you add a new unit, right, you have to make the unit, you need to like create the skeleton, you need to do all the animations, you need to program it to work in the game, you need to balance it, so on and so forth, you need to like rig it up. It's a lot different work. It's a lot more work and it's a lot different. It requires different people. And as Miles has already said too, they have a surplus, an absolute surplus of models or enemies ready to go. It's a question of implementation. It is just a pure bandwidth constraint on adding more units. But just, you know, creating a new skin for a model, easy drag and drop. You know, on that note, I wouldn't mind if they add some more variations, but like that might increase file sizes, which I know they're very wary of.
This is it. We decide what happens next.
And like file optimization is not something that artists can do. They can like do it somewhat, right? I'm not saying that they're incompetent in that regard, right? They can probably optimize their model somewhat, but when it comes to actually like optimizing the entire game, is probably outside the scope of their tool set. Leave me alone.
Full of bad people.
It looks kind of cool to me. I mean, to be fair, Game Shift, I don't mind that all the problem. Well, yeah, I mean, that's just the trade-off of Danite. I wouldn't necessarily say it's a problem, it's just... To be perfectly fair, though, too... Storage space is kind of cheap nowadays. Like, DDR5 RAM, sure, it's still, like, fairly expensive. I haven't looked into it recently, but I remember it was fairly expensive a while ago. VRAM is pretty expensive, which it might correlate with actual VRAM with storage space, but, like... Yeah, at the same time, storage space is cheap. But I'm not saying that's not an excuse not to optimize, but, like, I can understand why it might be in the back of their minds. They could probably go through all the assets and optimize a shit ton for sure.
Doing for themselves.
But that's it can, let's say for example, they have 1,000 assets in the game currently. That's a lot of manual, slow work. It depends, Agent. It depends on where you live. I'm like, for different people, it varies varies greatly, right? I got old stagger. No. Why are y'all so fast? I don't know why I'm gonna be popping meds for a while.
We can break out.
Is the new Monster Hunter on UE5 or a different engine? Oh my god, why are they all aggroed? It is literally a fucking water thief factory. Go away. Fucking auto shotguns. Well, we got the quest complete, but man, it's been rough. It feels like what's currently happening is we're aggroing a lot more than we're seeing, but because it's around a wall, we don't get to see the aggro indicator. It's also, the quietness doesn't do us any favors either, because we can't really tell auditory-wise how aggressive or how pushed we're getting until we start getting shot. Alright, how much more M4 damage do I have? Plenty. All right, we did Water Wars though. We traded out perfectly. Different engine, okay. Sure, we can do. This feels like a trap though too, considering how aggressive those guys respawn in that little room. Let's go to vendors here and buy some meds. I mean, Flip, what FPS do you get? Or are you just morally like concerned about the file size? Like, what's your rig setup and all that good stuff? I mean, they have spent a ton of time and work on optimizations, right? And the game does run better than since launch. Now, I don't see an uplift because my CPU is my constraint, but like, if your constraint was more GPU sided, you got a lot of help recently, or over the over the past months. All right, maybe we need our own auto shotgun to bail us out. Were you the one, Flip, that was having like really weird FPS issues? Like where you just were artificially like low for some reason? I don't. You have 8 gigs, right? I really don't think it's low VRAM, to be honest. 2 gigs doesn't make that big of a deal, and like VRAM is something you can fix by just lowering your graphics settings. Like if you're getting, hey Camper, if you're getting low FPS even when you're changing your graphical settings to low, that means it's not a VRAM issue. Because like that's definitely something lower settings are supposed to fix is VRAM. All right, we picked up downtown stuff. Oh no, I mean if your concern is for the future, they are very aware of performance and storage space and all that good stuff, right? They are very conscientious about that. That's basically what they primarily talk about. And like, if there's one big takeaway from the old Q&As I can talk about, it's like they mention performance and storage a lot relative to other things.
Has our luck run out?
Yeah, I mean, I play high, and to be fair, like the only time I get GPU dependent or GPU constrained is when I go to ultra. It's all CPU for me, so I can go to low. I can go to low to high. It doesn't really change anything for me. My FPS will be the same on low as it will be on high. The only time where I actually see dips that is from the GPU is on ultra. But like, I don't plan on upgrading my CPU anytime soon because that means basically buying a new fucking motherboard, CPU, and RAM all at the same time. Which does not sound all that enticing. Oh, I mean, if they really wanted to, 5800X game shift, if they really wanted to flip, they could like say go asset to asset and probably optimize quite a lot. It's just that's very slow, tedious work. Like, they could use lower poly models on some of the models, right? Like, even with Nanite, you could lower the base model resolution down. Doesn't have to be a 4K or 8K. But it handles it well, game shift, but like I am, you know, stuck at a certain point. I mean, that's generally the ask though of things like Nanite though, right? Is you use the highest quality raw files you have because Nanite works better that way. I mean, I'm referring to textured models. I'm not saying, you know, an untextured model. Right. I knew they know they respond very quickly, unfortunately. Gotta be careful. Go back to auto.
Whittle them down and we can break out.
Where the fuck did you come out of the tunnel, you bitch? Let me grab some water while I'm here, because why not?
Oh, this is what it's all for.
It's probably time to back up now.
Diminishing by the second.
Alright, back we go.
Whittle them down and we can break out.
It really game shift depends on implementation, right? Just because your game is like pixel art doesn't mean it will run well if you like poorly code it. Sure, like you like the high, like on the plus side though, when you do like have a well-running game in pixel art, right? It's not very demanding on the graphics card.
Whittle them down and we can break out.
Hello. One thing I just do hope they do eventually is I kind of already figure that the reason why the way it is probably because of network issues. But I do hope they find a way to optimize a bit and get the velocity of weapons up a bit. It feels weird when we're shooting weapons and like we're in CQB and it's basically it's not hit scan. And I'm not saying it should be hit scan, but I'm saying it should feel almost like it's hit scan. Hey, Dyer. Oh, the mechs are fighting. They're just gonna stomp at each other for a bit. All right. Yeah, there goes. Yep.
Too much heat.
Oh, camp for 100%. Yeah, I agree. I wish I had more nooks and crannies and just general locations. %. No, yeah, this will be solved in the future. You won't have mechs kissing. I mean, it was posted on the Discord, blood. On the dev update, they're doing little blogs now here and then. I'm not buying viewers. Stop. You're wasting your time here. If I just spy 100 viewers on Twitch, I'll get discovered. I mean, that's fair and all. That is the main medium of which they kind of give updates, though, I will say. Though there are plenty of people who will usually post those updates to Reddit.
Taking fire.
Yeah, that is part of it, Flip, yes. But, like, the actual, like, typically speaking, you can do lots of things to not make that happen, but the added complexity of networking makes it a giant pain in the ass. Like, there's lots of things you can do to have perfectly, like high velocity projectiles in UE, like, or just in any game, really, right? But, like, the added layer of network syncing makes it a literal hell. And considering we've already seen issues in the past with network syncing, like, for example, of, like, when you're not the host, your game will behave weirdly. And, for example, when the knockdown thing was an issue, you could go through the ground when you're getting knocked down because the collision of your model would just go through the floor, and you would just go bye-bye. Yeah, they're still going at it. Oh no, yeah, Cyborg changes are brutal. I honestly think they're probably a bit overtuned right now. They do a lot, and they're very common. I wouldn't mind a trade-off though, to be honest. I wouldn't mind it if they did a lot more damage, but they just weren't as tanky.
I think they spotted us. That's it for us.
Because they are kind of aggressively tanky right now. Oh my god, it's in the wall. Or I guess it's in the alleyway. Alright, they're just having fun over there. You need to die. Grenade launcher guys are not around alive around me. Just insta-kill. But no, yeah, cyborgs are brutal. I don't, like, the biggest thing is I don't mind increased damage. I don't mind, as long as things aren't bullet sponges, right? If you want to have a higher lethality game where enemies and yourself are more squishy, I'm 100% down for that. The problem is, I guess, is making it fair, right? Or making it quote-unquote fair. Like, for example, sometimes these assholes with the grenade launchers will punk you out of nowhere. And they don't, like, the grenade launcher they shoot doesn't really feel like a grenade launcher, right? It feels more like it feels more like a fucking bolter. Like a low-velocity bolter, because it's like a explosive projectile just going in a straight line towards you, and when it hits you, you die. Did we just send him to, like, Valhalla? Oh, yeah, flung the fuck back. Yeah, it's more in the sense of, like, if you are playing on a fresh account, Ricky, in my opinion, and you're a newer player, I think cyborgs are an enemy where, like, a player will get frustrated in the sense of, how am I supposed to deal with these? And the answer can't just be stealth, right? Because stealth is really not, like, it is an element of this game, but it is not the focus of this game. So you can't run away from, if you're Scav, really you can if you're higher prestige, but you really can't run away from the cyborgs. You can't just, like, do a long prolonged battle with them. Your only solution is gunning them down quickly. Hey, Shek. Like, news in what regard? Just, there's a dev blog on Discord now. So they posted a few things there, like, recently and a week ago. So they showed off some more skins they're gonna be pushing out. And then other than that, they showed off consumable healing, like, times and animations, and then they showed off... See, this is what I mean. Stop going so fast. The physics is so wonky. That and, like, yeah, that's really about it. And sync kills for enemies, like, you know, for example, like too many mechs. Are they shooting at a wall? Oh, they're shooting at the mech. Yeah, that's why they can't do anything. Actually, I'm pretty full, right? I just need to leave. Oh, police station. What you could have been. Somebody call the phone number. It's not a real phone number, though. Let's see. It's just the hole that translates over to that corridor over there. This is just like a... Yeah, there's nothing here, I don't think.
Whittle them down and we can break out.
Oh, he doesn't have a backside. unplayable. Oh my god, he's floating. I think this is just a spawn room. Hey. Everything in here is dead. Alright, we can at least leave. We're out of space anyway. Oh no, yeah, the animations or just the media mix in general need some love. Their main gun is very restricted in its movement. No, they are kind of just set pieces, right? Or like they're collective set pieces. It's usually just a giant ensemble as a lot of their maps, right? Yeah. Lots of loot. All right, move to trash, or move to stash. Move to trash. I mean, basically to some extent. Move to stash. All right, gunhead. It's time. I haven't touched it in a while, so maybe they did a hotfix. Let's check to see if they did a hotfix. They're monsters. See ya, Flip. Absolute monsters. What do I got in my inventory here? Only one turret. Got a lot of explosives though. I haven't seen Captain Chin in a while, actually. Let's go lock off Mesa for the rest of the day. We don't want to go to Mesa anyway. Let's see. We'll bring a Scar. Just ammo, and then we'll just go through there and blow up the bridge and then leave. Wait, this is the rack, I think, right? Yeah. Gotta redo equipment now. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then ammo. Let me take off the shotgun because I don't want to lose my AA-12. But I think we're good. We don't need the mask. Any more quests we want on Mesa? Oh, we can do part 1. Anything else? Sure. And good enough. I haven't seen Captain I haven't tried to summon him in a while. I've heard he still just teleports around. I get a sense it's supposed to be him jumping around, but I guess with the detachment from ticks, it just does it in a very aggressively fast way. I mean, I wouldn't worry about it too much, right, MK? Yeah, game shift. Just normal stream. Just a good old normal stream.
We have the munitions to remove the threat.
Oh, he put stuff about VC in its review? Like, not in, or like, talking about like a Steam review and not a Discord? Like an actual, like a actual factual Steam review? If so, that's wild. I'm gonna look that up later. Actually, I'm kind of curious. So, wait, I'm confused. Can you paraphrase what they said? I don't want to really pull it up and start getting into like shit like that, especially because I don't want to like target anyone, to be honest. But that does sound wild. I hear you, Tormentor. Alright, he's dead. Like, I got bad news for everyone. Making things costs money. I'm not sure if this is a shocker to any of you, but people have to get paid, and people who work in tech, which by extension means game development, generally have pretty good salaries. What are they? They're just looking for something to. They're just okay. What they're doing is called a post hoc argument. They are trying to find something to latch onto to vent their frustrations. They're trying to find any rationale to, like, basically confirm their already made beliefs. Because in the grand scheme of things, between loans, publishers, or venture capital, if you have to raise money and there's not some investor willing to give you money privately, venture capital is not the worst thing in the world, considering, would you rather have a publisher who wants you to monetize very quickly, if not instantly, with battle passes, skins, premium currencies, always online, PvP? Like, look at example for what's that game coming out soon, or relatively soon? We need to go to blow up the bridge. We need to hurry. What's that game coming out soon? The other extraction shooter coming out? That's kind of got a similar vibe to this. I forgot its name already. Like, do you think Tencent buys companies just because they want to, you know, feel good about themselves? They buy companies to monetize them. Tencent's a publisher, and Data too. I can't forget Data. Oh my god, it's a grabber. Venture capital, what they want to do, right, is they want, typically speaking, this is a generalization, right? They want you to make your company worth more money. And yes, part of that is creating or getting revenue streams, right? Leave me alone. Go away. No, leave me alone. I'm Stop it. Venture capital would rather you create value for your company and make it worth more so that their equity stake in your company is worth more. Like, it depends on the contracts you signed, right? I can't say that the actual factual contracts, but the way venture capital makes their money is your company becomes more valuable, and then they either sell their shares or you go public and they have a big control of your shareship, right? Yeah, and like, it's not valuable in the sense of like make money now. It's valuable in the sense of venture capitals don't work on the same time frames as publishers and loans, right? Like, your loan is going to have a set term where you need to repay it, otherwise you're delinquent on your loan. And then publishers just want to make money because they're usually private, or they're usually public companies. They want to make money as quickly as possible for quarterly, you know, reports, right? They want to look good for their shareholders. Venture capital is typically private, owned by privately, and you know, Fundog is still private. So in a way, they are beholden to, or they're beholden to their, you know, their equity partner to some degree, but that's all contractual shit. But like, in the grand scheme of things, venture capital is probably one of the better things to do, in my opinion. There are their downsides, absolutely, like everything. But if you gave me the choice for Fundog and said, like, they can take a loan, they can have a publisher, or they can have a venture capitalist, the VC is the lesser evil out of all of them, and it's not even close. Go. Can I have some peace? I'm just trying to blow up a bridge over here. And like, because at least in the current term and like phase, right? The things that the venture capitalists would want this company to do is to make a good product and have it take off. Because that makes them the most money. Because if Fundog does well and has a good big IP on their hands, it means they now have a stake in that. Where is this fourth one? Is it here? Am I dumb? Give me the prompt, Gabe. There we go. Alright, I need to run. Run, gunhead. Because a publisher might not care if you actually, like, it depends on the contracts, right? They don't want you to fail, but at the same time, they want you to make them lots of money in a very, you know, decent time frame. Like in the spans of years, not multiple years. But VCs are willing to wait for the long term, right? Goodbye, Bridge. But anyway, thanks for coming to my TED Talk. Venture capitalists are basically, it depends, right? You can have small venture capitalists, like individual, like people or firms that like are, you know, maybe a couple people, or you can have very big venture capitalists. Think of it this way: venture capitalists are like hedge funds for companies, as opposed to investing in stocks and liquid assets like hedge funds do. Venture capitalists invest in companies. So, for example, the company that mentioned, like Galaxy Interactive, I think is what it's called, the venture capitalists that funded Fundog, they have, like, I think 70 plus different pieces or different companies, right? They have stakes in lots of different companies, right? Because that's how they diversify risk. They are not saying that Fundog is going to be successful. They are saying on the aggregate, on the average, over their investments, right? They will come out ahead, because they're diversifying in lots of different things. And Fundog is one of those things. They also apparently invested in Slipgate, which I would be more concerned about, to be honest, considering fucking Slipgate. I'll make FPS great again. Fuck off, dude. Read the goddamn room. Yeah, 100% oof. But like that's part of the whole thing with like venture capitalists, right? They know some of their investments will fail. That's why they make lots of them. Because if you ever seen tech valuations before when they go public, or like when they, you know, get sold, like you only need a few of them to hit. Say for example, if they gave Slipgate like 10 million, and let's say that they gave Fundog 5 million, right? Or like, let's say they gave, for example, 10 game companies each like 5 to 10 million, right? All they really need is one or two of them to take off and do very well for them to get their money back, if not more. Yeah, and what you're referring to, Ricky, is like, it depends, right? When you have a small venture capitalist investing in a few companies, there is the concern, right, is are they just buying into the company to take control of it, or just to be a very large voice of it? With the larger venture capitalists, though, like, they have so many different companies, they're not going to micromanage all of them. So in a way, them being under the umbrella of a larger venture capitalist is more of I would say, a blessing than a curse. Because it means that there's no... And, like, here's the thing, too, right? It's one thing if a company already has a market or a product to market, and it's just about monetizing it, or for example pushing it. That's the case where you might see, for example, if a venture capitalist think you're not doing your best in regards to pushing out your product, they might start, you know, pushing on you to... They might try to oust you, right? That's because you're not necessarily irreplaceable. But when you're talking about a creative head of a company like this, right, like a game, who, like, part of the valuation that they got was the actual, like, belief in, let's say, Miles, or the you know, the people Miles has under his company, right? And getting rid of them is them getting rid of an asset. You know, if the customers are buying into a creative vision from a founder, that founder is somewhat important, right? If I recall correctly, right, I believe this is my memory is hazy on this, so forgive me if this is a little bit wrong, and correct me if I'm wrong. I believe Steve Jobs was originally ousted from Apple by, I think, his VC or by his loans, by some entity. I think it might have been a VC, or basically what a VC is nowadays in the past. And eventually they brought him back, right? Because he's basically the face of Apple, right? Like, you need him to be there to push the product. Like, it is a cult of personality to some degree. So thanks, Finny. Appreciate it. Alright, we blew up the bridge, which means no more mesa for today. We have locked off the mesas. Good job, Gunhead. So, like, I'm not saying that there's not a risk of, like, VCs taking control of a company they bought lots of equity into, but that's a concern usually when you sign up with VCs looking at the contract, and also it's like, in this particular case, I don't think it's very likely because of the size of the VC, and like, you don't typically do that with a company that's very creative, like a game. You do it with a company that's like a business, right? Like, let's say, for example, a company does, like, I don't know, spreadsheets really well, right? And they make an excellent spreadsheet that they can sell to lots of different people. If the VC doesn't think that they're doing a good job of marketing this Excel sheet, at that point, who's in charge doesn't really matter, right? Managerial skills like that are transferable. It's not about creative vision, it's about actually running the business. That's when you see VCs take over, when they think you're managing the business side wrong. But the business of games is making games, and yeah. That's, for example, why publishers do the screws and try to make you sell lots of shit. Venture capitalist. There was apparently a Steam review and a bit of talks going on in the Discord about someone posting about the venture capitalist company who backed Fundog, and so now it's in the zeitgeist of the community. Let's go to Pack Mule. And listen, like, if you want to say capitalism's bad, I'm all fucking with you, man. I think it's a necessary evil, but like, like, the talk here shouldn't necessarily be that like, you know, the form of economy we have is bad. It's more in the sense of I don't need mechanism, Gunhead. It's more of like, what is the least evil, the most ethical, you know, way you can raise funds as a company. And remember, Fundog had a publisher before, right? That was like really into NFTs, and Fundog left that. I'm gonna give them props to that. That does seem like integrity to me. And so, like, when all the publishers you might get access to, right, might want you to do monetization like that. Maybe not literal NFTs, but monetization like that, right? Like, you've locked yourself down to a loan or to a VC. And in a way, right, it is... They both have their pros and cons. But I think having the pressure of fulfilling a loan or paying back a loan while developing a game would be very sketchy. It's definitely doable, but there's lots of pressure in that regard, right? Especially considering if the bank isn't willing to give you a loan and you start having to put up collateral, you start risking your personal livelihood. And like that, you know, people do that all the time for businesses to start up a business, but like, is that something that necessarily you want to do as a game developer? Or just as an individual, right? I can tell you right now, if I had a choice between a VC or a private loan, I would give up equity before I gave up, like, a mortgage on my house, if I had one. Because I never want the threat of being homeless. That fucking terrifies me. And it does depend on, too, right? Like, I wouldn't sign away more than, like... It depends on how much they're asking for, too, right? But then we're getting into, like, the nuance and particulars of it, right? How much equity did you give away? And for how much, right? And how much will that money buy you in regards to time to develop? Though, I mean, on the plus side, I will say... Like, this game has apparently sold pretty decently, right? Like, I'm not saying the Steam DB stats are, like, perfectly accurate, but, like, I looked it up this morning about the conversation with VCs, and it says between 350k and 650k, basically. So we ballpark, like, 450, 500k, probably, maybe, if we just take the two numbers and look in between. Which is decently respectable, right? That's a decent chunk of change. So, like, we'll say, like, a 500,000 units if we're being generous. Now, naturally, the pricing for those 500,000 we have no idea about, but, like, still a decent chunk of change. No, leave me alone. Where are you looking coming from? Oh, man, let me swap shoulders. Oh, there's a wall there. The true curse of the shoulder swap, it doesn't actually change your gun side. It just changes your camera. Yeah, and considering there's still early access to MK, though, like, there's the concern also, I guess, of, like, do they get all of their money up front for early access, and then, like, if they go 1.0, will they get a huge uplift in cash? No, especially considering MK2, that, like, most indie projects will, like, flounder very heavily. No, it's very respectable. Like, they truly have done, like, the hard part first of finding an audience, and now it's just about making a game that people want to get into. Give me your stuff. You're like, it's just like no sounds at all. Like the noise that I feel like you should be hearing from these guys should be almost not deafening per se, but so loud. So I will say, I think that, like, ooh. I'm kind of curious how, like, I'm not a sound engineer, so I'm kind of curious, like, on a game side, is it just, like, mixing all of those, like, different infantry sounds together, or is it actually, like, providing a new sound for a group of infantry after a certain point? No, leave me alone. On the plus side, this 50 cal still puts him down pretty quickly.
Initiated protocol 726. Close combat. Authorized.
I wonder if they fix it actually, because that was a bug before. As long as cyborgs are like one-shotable in the head with 50 cal, I think I'm okay with it. Like, if the de facto basic service rifle of Europa can one-shot cyborgs to the head, I'm okay with that as a balancing point. Ricky, I would not be surprised if they're 1.0ing this year, because A, they want to move on, and B, they burn so much money on Arena to have it flop. They threw so much money. I don't even know my question yet. Hold on here. Silly man. Is there finally going to be an escape from Tarkov? 8 years later. I actually didn't see the trailer yet, but I've seen a few of like the talking points about it. I am very hopeful, right? I'm still genuinely kind of concerned that, like, I don't know, maybe you just don't bother and you just make an RTS for the RTS crowd. I do feel like there's... I don't know. No, hey, we can talk about this. No, we're both, you're a robot, I'm a robot. Leave me alone. Oh my god, it's such a slow recovery window. Well, it's not necessarily about that, but I'm more in the sense meaning like we're still waiting on that. Like, I'm not sure if the RTS genre in its current state could ever be fully revived. You will always find people interested in that kind of that type of game, but like I definitely feel like it's just waiting for like something to really break out with, right? Dread, not really. I mean, if you're using a grenade launcher, it's like, what, 4 or 5 shots? As long as you're going equipped with the proper gun, it's just like any XO. I mean, I think they've been gassed on Tarkov for a while now, but they haven't helped their own case by doing scope creep all the time, right? But in regards to RTS, right? The new DLC for this game? I checked it out. I didn't see it out yet. But I didn't actually restart Steam either, so maybe that's why. I didn't see it. Yeah, Warfare is pretty mainstream now, so that could definitely be a thing. The only problem is, like, RTS has been a very rough genre for, like, onboarding. Because, like, shooter games do a very good job of like translating to other shooter games, at least on a very basic capacity. But like RTS is a very weird genre in the sense of if you have no prior experience with RTS, no other game will really help you with RTS. Like no other game skills really translate to RTS all that well. You could maybe say MOBAs at a very, very basic level, but not really.
Our ammo is insufficient for the threat.
Let me not go this way. I think, like, I wouldn't even say complex, it's just unintuitive, right? They're from a, like, the RTS genre is from a day and age of, like, when, to be a computer user, right, you generally had to be a nerd and, like, be okay with, like, taking time to learn things. Dread, I haven't tried it. I mean, I'll give it a try. I know they've, like, changed a few things around, big boy units. I don't feel safe. Okay, EXO, can you please fuck off? Hello. Leave me alone. So, like, that's kind of like what I'm saying, but in the sense of, like, they're... And I know Stormgate tried it, right? But Stormgate is necessarily a product from ex-Blizzard devs for Star Citizen, or not Star Citizen, StarCraft. So, like, I feel like there needs to be, like, a fresh mind that goes into the RTS genre and kind of redesigns it from the ground up. Not to not be an RTS, but more in the sense of how you interface with it. On the downside, or the bad side of that, though, is the people who are like have ingrained with them with what RTS means and how it controls and how it feels would probably be miffed at a differently changed control scheme. Midnight, you have to do... Oh my god. Leave me alone. Oh, I'm gonna die. Got knocked down. Hold on, hold on, hold on, hold on, hold on. Let me in. Not even close. Thanks, Dread. Yeah, the control spam. Good old extra tracking me through walls. Now the HKs are really brutal now in regards to just aggroing everything nearby. Even if the HKs aren't like actually like next to you, they still just aggro everything in a radius. How would you like everything to be omniscient, not just HKs? Alright, let's go over to Mask Man. No, it's really useful for like just getting distance after, like, because there's a build up to sprints, especially when you're burdened, and then if you don't have time to get up to sprint, especially in that instance, it's just better to control. It still doesn't feel great, but like it's the necessary evil sometimes. So midnight. There's 3 criteria to unlock Bunko. You need to basically buy and sell him stuff for like 20k. You need to be in a lobby with 3 other scavengers. You don't have to play array with them. You just need to be in a lobby with basically a full lobby. And then you need to have 3 scav quests active at the same time from the scav trader. And once you do all 3 of those, Bunko will unlock as a quest guy over here. And I believe at that point all of the quests are soloable, even the one that says you need to be in a group, you can just bring recruits. Where's Red Baron? I think was it commission? It's one of these 2. This will bring this one too. Alright. The Red Baron? We probably want to bring attack cam for this, just because finding the wreckage can be a kind of a bitch. The elephant. No, Ricky, yeah, my favorite are like, and RTS has its own subgenres too. My favorite RTS is Subcom.
Wake up, rinse and repeat.
Subcom gives you that grand scale of just like total war, right? Especially considering like, and it's like, that's one of those things too, at least the campaign and skirmish is really fun because like, they can take like, you don't have to go blazingly fast in them most of the time. You can actually take your time and just scale up, and like the battles can last for hours if you really want them to. If you want to be slow and methodical. So I prefer Subcom over like Command and Conquer or StarCraft. Though I did put a decent amount of time in Command and Conquer Tiberium Wars in multiplayer. That was fun. Though they kind of botched the whole fucking end of life patch. Supreme Commander. It's just called Subcom, it's like for short, but Supreme Commander. The like kind of genesis of this now is called Beyond All Reason. It's like a version of it. It's like, and I'm sure if it's free to play, but like it's a community supported version of the game now called Beyond All Reason. Naturally, it uses nothing from Subcom though in regards to art or like lore because that's owned by what's it called, that Korean company that I hate, that I despise. Hold on, it'll come to mind. Who ruined Subcom? I'm blanking right now because I want to forget about them. Square Enix, there we go. Fucking Square Enix. Yeah, they own the rights to Subcom right now, which it blows dick. All right, Red Baron. Let's see if you're tankier than before. Oh, all right. Let's get some cover so we don't get knocked down immediately.
I can charge it quick. Wait.
That's 6 impacts. That's... Okay, that's about 9 as opposed to 3. Oh god, it's T-posing. Oh god. Go away. Actually, hold on here. This is a good fight for us. I thought Square Enix was Korean. Am I wrong? Doesn't Square Enix like publish quite a few KRPGs? Alright, so the X is dead. Oh, they're Japanese. I did not know that. Okay, I was wrong. Shit. Do they publish any KRPGs, or are they all JRPGs? I don't play JK or like any like Eastern RPGs, so like I'm pretty bad at differentiating them. Do they publish any KRPGs too?
Down and we can break out.
All right. Did it already just spawn, I think? Don't mind me just chilling on the fire. Okay, I'm getting shot, but I can't see. Google says no. All right. Fair enough. I guess I was just wrong. I don't know where I got the fact that I thought they were Korean in my head. Regardless, they still killed Supreme Commander. They will not be forgiven. Alright, we got our Red Baron stuff. It was 9. Maybe I'm thinking, okay, maybe I'm confused with Nexon. Square Enix, Nexon. To be honest, tomato tomato. Oh, hello, you. They took Supreme Commander that had a very cool, interesting gimmick for RTS and made it like every other fucking RTS in the market. There will be no forgiveness. No, 100% Square Enix. They would rather their IPs rot in their prison as opposed to sell them or release them to actually be made again, yeah. They are an IP dead end. Once again, showing you why, hey, maybe the VC deal was not as bad as a publisher deal. Basically.
I think they spotted us.
I'm pretty sure... I would have to go look, but I'm pretty sure they just own it. I don't think it decays. Like, copyright law in the US is fucking weird, man. It's like 100 fucking years for it to actually go public domain or something like that. And even then, you can, like, as long as you create content with it, it's basically renewed, if I recall correctly. Oh, so Nazca, what they did is they basically made, like, Supreme Commander like Command and Conquer. And they took, like, the core concept behind Supreme Commander was these large battles that, like, were, like, epic and just filled up the entire screen, and you had, like, lots of zoom out and lots of things going at the same time. And they basically made a CNC clone. With their whole, like, you know, Japanese style, like, not Japanese style, but I mean, like, it felt like a Eastern game. It felt like a parody or a knockoff of Command and Conquer, with like the vein of like mechs and shit. And then, oh god, they were surprised when it didn't do all that well. They also made it for console too. If I recall correctly, it was out for the 360. And the second you start making an RTS with like a console, right, you're kind of putting yourself into a really bad fucking spot. But now, thankfully, like, we have a spiritual successor now, and beyond all reason. I haven't tried it yet. Just because, like, one of the reasons why I like Subcom so much is the campaign was actually pretty fucking good. And beyond a reason, I think is only really multiplayer right now, but yeah.
Jose. Who Another reason to stay alive.
I mean, say what you will, I'll shit talk Tarkov all the time, but Tarkov does strike that medium right very well of trying to have like hardcore mechanics while also making them accessible. Like people, I think the companies have it the wrong way, right? In the sense of they focus on making their game like broad so it appeals to a wide audience, but it's more about making your game bespoke, but making it accessible. Like you could have a very, like, I would consider Tarkov a heavily stylized game, right? That has very, like, I would say, features that you wouldn't think applies to a large audience or are enjoyed by a large audience, but because they're never to the point where like they literally lock people out from playing the game to some capacity, it works. And the fairness of it too, right, is like, you know, everyone is under the same umbrella in that game, works out pretty well. Like that's one factor that like it's pretty important, is that in my opinion, if enemies are gonna do lots of damage, if we're gonna do lots of damage, we should at least to be somewhat comparably or proportionally like you know, weak or spongy, right? If enemies can take 10 bullets, we can take 10 bullets. If enemies, you know, are squishy, we're squishy, right? And it's not always 1-to-1, but it should be proportional, right? Like if we look like Masked Man, if we find a European soldier that looks like us, right, it should be proportional. If you want to lean into that, right, you know, that's a way of making it fair. Well, Ricky, that's actually the trap of COVID, weirdly enough. It's why you see a mass culling in so many game companies right now. That was what everyone thought when COVID happened. They were looking at the COVID bump for like tech and being like, hey, everyone's indoor and playing games now. This is sustainable. And then they overhired, and then they got too big for their britches and realized after COVID, when people started going outside again, oh shit, we thought this was sustainable. We thought this was gonna be, you know, we could have this forever. Where every game, even how mediocre it was, sold millions of units. No, that was just COVID. That was everyone being indoors. All right. Time for a nighttime stairway. I'm down. The camphor, if you have a premium edition of Tarkov, there's PvE Tarkov. There's also mods for Tarkov called single player Tarkov or SPT Tarkov, which you can mod pretty heavily. So if you do only want to play it in single player Tarkov, you can go through the means of doing it, yes. And there's a few different options for you. And the nice thing I will say about SPT Tarkov is, like, if you are willing to go to the effort, you can, like, heavily modify it, right? To be exactly tailored to what you enjoy. All right, stairway. But I mean, like, Ricky, as we were talking earlier, Ricky, I'm not sure if you were here for this, but we talked, like, this game's probably around 500k sales. Like, SteamDB has it between 340 and, like, 670, so let's just, like, you know, say 450, 500. Conservatively, I would think.
Just one more run.
So, like, a niche game like this that's very unfinished in early access still sells, like, 500k units in early access. And I'd say this is more the anomaly. I wouldn't say this is very commonplace, right? Hey, Delta.
Eyes on us. Spread out.
Oh, me too. Me too. I mean, I want to support them whenever they monetize outside other means, because I think it's important for them to grow the IP, not necessarily just the game itself. And so, like, any way I can reward them for developing the IP and not necessarily the game itself is I'm gonna do too. I would, in a weird way, like, I would hope, or I kind of really want them to push. Maybe they are on the back. They haven't just announced it yet, right? But I do hope that maybe they have like a person or two on staff that's looking into like doing more just merchandising. Because like those are people who are doing skins, right? Could also just do art for graphical tees or, you know, mugs or t-shirts or models and so on and so forth. Or they could do, hey, they could even do like comics. Who the fuck knows, whatever they want to do. There's plenty of things I'm sure they can do to monetize if they really want to, but like, I don't know how they're structured, but if Miles is the one in charge, I'm sure it's very mentally taxing to like wanted to be developing a game, but also like managing the business side at the same time. Yeah, no, I mean, it's all right, let's get into economics. It's basically supply and demand, right? Like, you can find the sweet spot if you want to charge a premium price for a premium game, and if you really want to have a small audience, that works too, right? It's all about knowing kind of, like, there's a reason, for example, why people go fucking whale hunting all the time. Because it's very profitable to go whale hunting. Would you rather, like, we don't need to appeal to a broad audience, we just need to find the few whales and they'll fund us fucking until we die. I don't know, Game Shift. Sometimes things like stuff like that can take a while though too. Like, when you start when you start getting into making a product like that, especially like a complex model like that, there's lots of back and forth of like, let's say for example, like, and it takes time too, like tooling and all that stuff. Like, it is, considering the game's only been out for not even a year at this point, they could have been in talks with like a manufacturer over in Asia, like beginning of like September of last year, right, when they pushed up the game to like, you know, 1.0 or not 1.0 but early access. And it's perfectly reasonable for them still to be in the pipeline of getting a model approved.
Make every shot count.
Wait, but so Nazca, you're saying 7.6 million off 700 sales and 11. Can you go revisit that math, please? The math does not add up. Oh, you're up there. Okay, I was like, hey, Nomad, stop. He's fucking. Stop waiting till I stop looking at you to freaking peek me, you jerk. But like, you know, 10 euros times, yeah, the math doesn't add up there. So let's just like, you know, be like easy, right? 10 euros times 7,600 sales, so 76K. Which is still respectable, right? Like, say for example, like, hey, if you're a solo dev and you made a product in a year and you made 76K off of it, that's very respectable. Keep in mind though, Steam still does take a 30% cut. So like, if it's selling for, you know, let's say 10 euros, you know, 30%, I think 30% of that's going to Steam. I think the rate's still 30%, which is pretty bog standard industry standard rate. I know Epic gives them shit for that, but like 30%'s always been the rate. Epic wants to change that, sure, but they can't bitch about it not being the norm. Which they did, don't get me wrong. But no, going back to my previous point, right? If they're in talks with the manufacturer to make a product, it is not unlikely for that to take a year or more of back and forth to finally get a product that they might approve of. Just like, say, for example, if it takes a couple months to get the tooling up or just get the prototype out, they get sent the prototype, they have to review the prototype and then send back notes on what's wrong. They have to go refine it and make a new prototype, and then that back and forth can last a while. Especially when we're talking about like a complex model that the artists have a lot of work into, right? Then it becomes like a thing of cost too, like, you know, how much can they reasonably charge for it? The Games Workshop route where they want a kidney. Yeah, I mean, the only concern I have, right, is that juice really worth the squeeze, Nomad?
Taking fire.
There is always the concern, right, of diversifying yourself, or not diversifying, like spreading yourself out too quickly and too thinly, right? And I'm not saying they should never explore that market, but like there is the real concern of like, hey, you know, you're into this, you know, skill set and development and you're spending your time here, right? Do you really have the ability to do this also? Like, would you rather be a business that's focused on one SKU, or would you rather dilute yourself by having lots of different SKUs? For people unfamiliar, SKU is a product. So a SKU number is a number associated with a product. So let's say, for example, this Samsung SSD has a SKU of like 0001, and then like, you know, this other SSD will have a SKU of 0002. As a very brief example, it's just a number associated with a product. So when I say a SKU number, it basically just means a different product, or a product in general. I didn't see my laptop. I want my laptop. AI is very bad at math. Yes. AI can code somewhat. It can do very like repetitive code. You should still not trust it entirely, or really at all. You should always double check its work. But no, AI is very bad at math. Where's my laptop at? It's usually on a crate around here. Also, we have a soldier inside of the things we can't kill. No, stop it.
This is a bad place. Full of bad people.
Oh, there you are. Survivor, I'm not, is it out yet actually on Steam? I didn't see it on Steam yet, but I do like the look of them. The teddy bear, gunhead looks cute, and then I'm not sure if I care about the Ultimate Man at all, but the Masked Man one does look cool. And they look a bit more outside teddy bear gunhead. I do like how the skins look a bit more grounded in the universe. Well, let me pull them up maybe in a second. Yeah, I didn't see it on Steam either. Hold on, let me go black for a second here while I pull this up. Just to make sure I don't show anything that I'm not supposed to show. Yeah, I was on my DM. I was on my DMs first. I didn't want to show anything from the DMs. My DMs are private. All right, dev blogs. I can go ahead and pull you up. All right. Let there be video capture. I just don't want to show my DMs with people because I have quite a few personal friends on there that we talk about personal shit and should not be leaked. Anyway, yeah, these are the skins. We have Smoghide, Old Man, which looks interesting. It doesn't look exactly like, he looks kind of cool, but it looks kind of not in the universe to me. Like, I can't say that because I'm not the artist making this and I'm not the universe creator, but like, out of all of the skins we see in this current cycle, this is my least favorite. Yeah, Filtermund looks actually like quite cool, right? Like, this looks in universe to me. It looks fucking dope as shit. And it looks like it fits the vibe of the game. And then you have Teddy stuff, Gunvad, which I think is perfectly fine too. Yeah, Smoghide is the weakest, 100%. And then Teddy stuff, we don't see him fully yet, but I do like the idea of like a robot having like a childlike intelligence. Once again, going into Alien FX or Alien Earth, kind of ideology where like maybe the AI's got like a childlike mentality and it collects teddy bears. I can see this being a quirk of the AI, which is cool. I can see that. No, but I can see that if maps looked cold, I could definitely see Smoghide like being in like a wintry map, 100%. Sure, I'll show it over. I should have it up here. Yep. Yeah, this is Filtermund. Yeah, you don't really feel like it's cold outside, 100%. Now, Filtermund looks really cool. The only one I don't really vibe with is this one, just because it doesn't look like it fits the vibe of the game currently. I didn't see them on the Steam store yet, so I don't think so. Maybe they'll come up with a patch if they're doing a patch. If they're doing another monthly patch this month, end of the month, they might be doing it alongside of that, right? Is releasing this DLC alongside of it. You know, honestly, what I wonder if they could do this too. This is. I would love to see if they like added these into the game as like a very long stretch goal. Like, say for example, each of these skins in game cost like 10 million. So like it just gives people an alternative, saying if you really don't want to like pay the money or support us, you can still acquire them in game. I mean, I'm buying it because I'm just buying it to support Fundog more. Like Nomad, keep in mind, this is literally why they're creating the DLCs, is just to like promote them, right? Oh, Crafter Challenge? I mean, the challenge, the problem is, Nomad, is that in regards to Crafter Challenge, is that I guess you could do crafting with codexes. I would say crafting would probably be better than challenge, because right now there's not really anything, there's nothing really challenging in the game, right? It's just about cheesing, really, right? There's nothing in the game currently that feels like I overcame a challenge. It's like I just cheesed something. But no, I could definitely see the case of like a crafting thing with like codexes and stuff. But no, I just view it as a different way to support them too, right? You just give them more money until they do a merch store. I don't even wear graphical tees at all. I wear basically plain shit clothes, but I'll still buy stuff to support them. Because like personally, I'm much more into the mission statement of just like, hey, like show publishers that people are willing to support indie projects that like are actually just trying to make interesting or like bespoke games. It doesn't have to be, you know, the 20th Call of Duty or the 6th Battlefield or so on and so forth. All right. Goodbye, stairway. Yeah, blood, whatever. Hey, Jacob. School's going well. It's just the first week, so like it's pretty very tame still. I've been knocking out some stuff here and there. But so far, still very tame. I guess we can do Scorched. You know, it says help the water thief escape. It's more of like chaperoning him to the extract. I will say, like, they haven't talked about it in forever though, which is perfectly fair, and it's probably so low in their priority list, which is also so fair. But I do hope that we see some degree of mod tools eventually. If they let us create maps, you guys will never see me again. If you give me a map editor, or you give me the ability to create custom maps, you guys will never see me again.
Oh, we should have chosen another exit.
Because I'll be busy making maps, Jacob. Let's go find Pyro. I could just sit on like map making streams though. I mean, I could literally do it, but it would. I mean, it would literally just be making maps. I would do it. Oh no, Matt, I have Unreal 5.5 installed. I mean, it's just the question of do I want to sit and make maps for no reason other than just make maps? Which, don't be wrong, I have done. It is fun. But no, I have Unreal Engine installed right now for the exact reason. All right, Pyro, where are you at?
As long as I'm the last one standing.
He sometimes one's over here. I don't see him over here yet. He could be out in the field over here, which might mean he's already dead. What are you shooting at, drones? I mean, Lil Papa, though, I'm not making maps for this game, though. I'm making maps because I want to. I actually don't recall exactly what version of UE5 I have. It might be 5.4, 5.5, 5.6. I don't know. I can't recall. I have some version of UE5, UE5 on. It's definitely not 1 or 2. It's probably not 3. It's probably 4, 5, or 6. Oh god, oh god. Whenever you see a bright light, start panicking. But no, yeah, I do enjoy making maps. The constant problem I've always had with making maps, though, it's always about assets, right? Of like, it always, you know, it only ever gets you so far to use like the stock assets in an editor. At a certain point, you kind of do just need to import assets, whether it be textures or models or so on and so forth. That's always been my issue in Hammer, is like Hammer's an editor, by the way, for like source games. Mainly like, you know, Counter-Strike and stuff like that, right? I haven't tried if they put out I don't know if they put out a new one for Source or Counter-Strike 2 yet. I should probably look into that, but like at least the OG Hammer, you had like the stock assets that came with Counter-Strike, at least go in this capacity. But like most custom maps, so these ones that would do pretty well, would always have like bespoke assets, right? Like textures and like, you know, models and so on and so forth. That's always been my like my actual stopgap, right? Is like I've never been able to like get to the point where I'm like, let's go make some models too and some textures. So like UE5 with the asset store is very appealing in that regard, but like the problem is too is I always have something like very particular in mind. Where the... Did Pyro already die? Pyro's already probably dead. There's a few, so Survivor, there's a few destroyed tanks around some of the maps. Like, for example, there's a destroyed tank in Mech Trench that's kind of like half vertical, it's diagonal. There's also a, in the scrapyard of Alpha Mausoleum, there's 2 bespoke tanks that are destroyed but haven't been used in game yet. So the model exists, but they're not currently to the point where they're actually like being used. All right, let me go, you need to die. All right, let's go free this guy over here. I'm guessing Pyro's probably dead. Wait, what? That's not a good sound. No, hey, stop that. Bad dog. Bad dog. Hey, what the fuck? Anyway, where was I? Alright, we're good. Alright. Come on, buddy. Let's go for you.
Perfection.
Probably because I only use it in third person, really. No? Aren't you supposed to get staggered from a grenade launcher? Have I been tricked? Have I been tricked? Is it more than one shot, maybe? Weren't you supposed to get stunned? Hold on here. Hold on. We do an experiment. No, Josh, Jacob, they, in a patch notes recently, you're supposed to be able to knock down, grabbers now. Or any elites. It might be more than one shot. We're gonna go find out. We're gonna go find out. Together. Yeah, I'd probably have 5.5 Nomad then.
I don't have a good feeling.
Alright, up we go. Whee! Stop hitting your head, mass man. There we go. Alright, where are you? Time to do science. On NASCAR only once. Like, the Friday stream of the patch, I saw it and haven't seen it since then. Here, doggy, 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 doggy. Here, doggy, 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 doggy. Does it know? Did it smell the 220 rounds of grenade launcher ammunition on me? Sorry, I guess shells? Grenade, I guess I call it grenades still, right? 220 grenades on me. There we go. Capsules? 220 capsules of explosive? Where the fuck are you? Come say hello. I'm not gonna lie, this is pretty poor etiquette in regards to treating guests. Just not showing up at the door. But for real though, where the fuck is, did I like skip its spawn trigger? Hold on, we can figure this out. Hello? 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 Marco. Hey, go this way. Not really. Marco. I swear he's fish out of water right now. There's no shot. He knows. Alright, let's just go, I guess let's go spawn him first, I guess. Let's figure out where he is. Hello? At least it was, yeah, Deftone. Hello? What? Hello? Marco? Marco? What the? Hello? Did, like, the game see me equip 220 rounds of grenade launcher ammunition and was like, we're not gonna spawn anything despite you? Hello? Marco. No, there's some guys over there. We have 3 whole things down there it is. Who's a good boy?
As long as I'm the last one standing.
But I can fix this. No, come back. Oh, let me get in my spot. Oh, well, that's not good. Hold on, I slipped. Old man feet. Alright, let's stay away from the edge. Marco? Marco? Who's a good boy? Hold still. Where the did Hey! We're invited to this party. They've nerfed TACAM, unfortunately, Survivor. TACAM got nerfed pretty heavily. It's no longer, like, map wide vision, which is perfectly fair. That was a bug. That was, I mean, that was like 1.5. It's much, much shorter range.
Hopefully it's good.
So we did like 1.5 hits on it, and it didn't stagger. I mean, maybe it might. I would, Nomad, I would be surprised if it was that in depth. I think it's just a damage meter.
Point to death here.
And part of the problem could be too. Where the fuck did it go? Part of the problem could be too, Nomad, is that the grenade procs are still very buggy. So like you don't always get the explosive proc on the grenade, which makes a huge difference because the impact alone is 1k, but the actual explosion is 10k. So like if you don't get the explosion proc, you're losing out on most, if not all, of your damage, really. Come on, boy. Here, doggy, 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 doggy. Need a chew toy to like attract the grabber. I guess that's called a decoy grenade, I guess. Need a squeaky toy. I'll go down, I guess.
Both signs point to death here.
I think it's like a damage meter too over a time period. I think it does require... I'm so dead. Oh, it's staggered, it's staggered. I'm also staggered though too. wait, hold on a goddamn second here. Why is my stagger longer than his stagger? What the hell?
Hopefully it forgets us. We can escape.
I hope it does. I want it to. I'm gonna go around. Oh god, no. I mean, you could technically with a railgun. I mean, in a way, it's more disabled than killed. Okay, I'm kind of curious. Is the red lines on the screen my graphics card dying? Or is it just part of being low HP now? It's kind of making me freak the fuck out. I do not want to graphics card live. That's good. I mean, it's pretty fine detail. It's probably just low HP. It's okay, it's gone now.
Always a pleasure, folks.
This 38 is not allowed to die for at least 3 more years. Alright, so what did we learn? I think it staggered, but the stagger was short enough that the stagger was so short that it was like shorter than us and our own knockdown animation. So that's food for thought. Well, that's clearly why you can't see anything, Survivor. You need a graphics card to see things. I think that's clearly your problem. Alright, let's do the scrapyard. Actually, that works. We can kill plenty of Eurasians on scrapyard usually. Actually, we blew up the bridge. That's not true. Yeah, we'll still bring it just in case. We should still be under post-bridge blow-up for scrapyard, which means little to no cyborgs. Well, Dream, you're not trying to stay there and, like, fight all the cyborgs, right? They are, I think, infinite.
If we get home without you.
The second you put the water barrel down, you basically just sprint to the exit. No bad, no bad, no bad. If you are saying that the Chris Vector should be integrally silenced, that's not a silencer. It's an integrated, it's a barrel shroud. The suppressor on the Crisp Vector is not a suppressor, it's a barrel shroud. Welcome to the civilian market. It's not a silencer. I will fight you, it's literally not a silencer. It is literally a barrel shroud. You gun nerds just want to pick and choose your shit. If you want to be a gun nerd, be an actual factual gun nerd. I can find you the civilian vector model that looks exactly like the model in game. They have modeled the barrel shroud to look like a silencer. For that reason, they're trying to be tactical, which by the way is how you sell to the American market. Oh, Spectre M4. Now, I know it's such an easy mistake to make, Rodder, but the problem I have is the people who act like fucking gun nerds and then claim shit like that. Because, like, lo and behold, gun nerds ruin lots of games, in my opinion. In the name of something they will never be satisfied by. It is, I have seen gun nerds move goalposts all the fucking time. It's their favorite thing to do. Sorry, not sorry, gun nerds. I love Forgotten Weapons too, but when it comes to games, you guys are fucking unsolvable. It's not a silencer. It is a barrel shroud modeled after a silencer. Survivor, it depends on what you're willing to do to get a silencer. You can own a silencer in the US. I love Gun Jesus. I love Forgotten Weapons. But because he's an actual factual gun nerd who doesn't say blatantly wrong shit in the name of tactical. It is literally not a suppressor. It is a barrel shroud because go look at the civilian P90 model for the US market and look at its barrel length. Like they're trying to get around SBR laws for the US. It looks like a fucking meme. And so Vector, trying to make a civilian Vector and not wanting to have the same issue, made a barrel shroud that looks like a suppressor so it doesn't have the weird fucking long ass barrel. I mean, it still has the barrel, but it's hidden now. It's literally a tactical upgrade. In my opinion, Rodder, I have problems with suppressors. If you were... I don't know how to answer that. If you were an AI, what would an AI know about guns? Probably a lot, I imagine. Because there's endless fucking gun forums they could have scraped data from. Because there's so many goddamn gun nerds that love to argue on the internet. Yeah, in the US, typically speaking, you can own automatic firearms, you can own silencers, but they all have some stipulation, right? Like for automatic firearms, that have to be before a certain date. For suppressors, you need to have, you know, certain like basically, like essentially things you sign off on and so on and so forth, and pay taxes and all that good stuff. Depends on your state too. Some states, you know, there's always state issues too, of like what states are allow shit and don't allow shit. Essentially, like US gun law is complicated because it basically depends and varies constantly depending on where you are. Like, for example, this shouldn't out me, especially considering I don't live there anymore, but in the state I was raised in, until like the mid 2010s, you needed to go basically get approved for a pistol. If you wanted to own a pistol in my state, you had to go, like, get approval from the sheriff, and then go take a class, and then you had the right to own a pistol. You could still buy rifles if you wanted, right? Like, there was no laws on rifles, but if you wanted to have, like a pistol, which you still can which you still could not conceal carry, but you could actually own one, you had to go through that. And, like, in the mid-2010s, the state legislature basically repealed that element of the law. So now you can just go buy a handgun if you want to. You still can't concealed carry it, That's still its own thing. You have to go do a lot of shit if you want to concealed carry. But yeah. Yeah, and then Nomad, like, if you really want to get into the nitty-gritty too, you can, if you want to become a, they're, considering all of the small, like, gun manufacturers in the US, I can't help but feel a lot of them are just trying to get their actual, like, manufacturing license, so they can own lots of shit you wouldn't normally be allowed to own. So, for example, the second you become a manufacturer of weapons, you essentially get, like, a freedom check to basically own whatever the fuck you want. Under the guise that you make weapons. So, like, if you want to have a fully automatic firearm, hey, just go get your weapon manufacturer. Like, there's a certain word for it. I can't remember what the word is, but, like, yeah, it's just like just go pay your taxes, become a gun manufacturer, and then you can own cool shit and make cool shit, and not really get killed by the, like, raided by the ATF. You know, this map feels kind of not the same without cyborgs. So silent. No, so that's kind of my issue with, like, suppressors in this game. Is, like, maybe they've changed it a bit. I haven't actually sat down and tried it out. Maybe we can try it out in a second, actually. I haven't actually tried the suppressors. So right now, to my last time I actually checked, suppressors are binary, right? It's either you have suppressor or you don't, and there's no nuance in between those, right? It's either they, like, you basically have no auditory perception or you do, and that's always been my kind of, like, my issue, is that there's, like, no nuance. And so it basically just means that if you're not owning suppressor, you're kind of doing yourself a disfavor. That I can't say, because I don't know if it exists or not.
It might be over.
And then we get into the thing Nomad too, is even if it is a suppressor, right? If it's 50 BMG, should it even really function as a suppressor? Like, don't get me wrong, it will muffle sound, but it will still be 50 BMG coming out of a barrel. But, like, Nomad, counterpoint, the 50 BMG SCAR in this game is the coolest gun in the game, it's not even fucking close. I would actually dare to say the only gun I like in the game is the 50 BMG SCAR. I will make such a bold statement. I think every gun in the game is ass except for the 50 BMG SCAR. What do you mean? It is the one thing that mows down cyborgs consistently now. No, man, you haven't played in a while, have you? You haven't played with the new cyborgs, have you? Nomad. Every single rifle, except for the SCAR, does not put down cyborgs in one shot to the head. And maybe not even in the SCAR right now, too. The cyborgs are really resilient now. And, like, if your main gun's like an RPK silenced or an M4 silenced, cyborg hordes will be a problem for you. You can still put them down, but you will blow through a whole ammo before you start, like, you'll blow through a whole extended mag before you actually kill them. But yeah, but, like, the reason why the SCAR is really good is because the SCAR is, like, it mows down cyborgs. Yeah, I blew up the bridge. I don't, like, what context do you need? I blew up a bridge. I don't know what you're asking for, Nomad. I blew up a bridge. What more do you want to know? Bridge go boom. We've always been a blow. What are you talking about, Nomad? We've always been a blow up bridges. Have you... If you take some explosives right now and go out to your local bridge and blow them up, is that not blowing up a bridge? Actually, let me get an actual fair comparison here. Let me get a RPK silenced. And let me get like a not Scar silenced. See what I get him for. Oh, 100% no, man. That's kind of why I like the Scar. Just Survivor, just a teeny tiny bit. Just a minor amount of gaslighting going on, yes. Just a teeny tiny bit. A very innocent amount of gaslighting going on. It's not my fault. But no, no, man, you can blow up the bridge on Mesa. There's a few map events now on each map. Not all the maps, but most of the maps will have an event or two that will have some impact on that map and other maps around it. So, for example, blowing up the bridge on Mesa will stop Cyborg spawns on Scrapyard. Hence why when we did the extract, you didn't see any Cyborg spawn. Alright, 762. Wait, Airmaki. Bring some meds in. I kind of made a mistake. I probably should be mask man for this, but we're already bag ban. It is what it is. Oh, I can't do Mesa. I was gonna go do Mesa for this. I need something that's big and open because big and open and passive. Because big, open, and passive means that I can do experiments without things just going all fucking ape shit. There we go. I have an idea on Elephant. I'll have to see if it works. I'm not entirely sure this will work on Elephant. It just removes them, yeah. It just makes Scrapyard a much more peaceful map. So there's a certain spot I want to go to test this out. I think they don't really see me up there, but we'll see. And so our RPK is silenced, but our M4 is not. And by the way, yeah, so we have one tank here, as you can see, on the side. This is one of the tanks that we don't have in game yet, but we can see a model for, and there's other ones right here. And they both look awesome as shit, and I hope we see them eventually. Let me try to get up over here. No, let me up. Okay. Okay, they are kind of seeing me a little bit, which is not great. Let me get to the point where they don't see me anymore. Can I get up there too? Okay, I can. Okay, the only problem is they are seeing me in the air, which is not great. I might need to do this in cover. I'm sorry! No, please! I just want to be a flying bagman. Okay, so let me try a different approach. Usually enemies don't come up here pathing wise. So once they drop aggro, we can test out a few things. Honestly, I do think we made a mistake. Mesa is probably the best map for this. Mesa has like lots of good spots where you have a clear like vision sight, but you don't get like you're in like a hidey hole. But since we blow up the bridge, it's kind of fucked. All right. Yeah, it's still binary, I think. Yeah, it's just straight binary. It's either you have a silencer or you don't. I could try getting closer and shooting maybe, but we were pretty close, I would think. Let me try getting a little bit closer with the silencer and seeing if they actually aggro. Moo. But like in real life, at the distance that we were at, you would hear the gun cycle, even with a suppressor that was perfectly silent. You would still hear the mechanics of the gun firing. That's, for example, why like the well rod, for example, is a manual like bolt action, because having a receiver go ka-chink as it cycles a new round in makes lots of noise when nothing else is making sound. It doesn't sound very loud in comparison to the gun going off, but when the gun makes no sound, the receiver is quite loud. Or I guess the bolt. That's what you really want to call it. I need to hide so I can drop aggro. I need to get this aggro drop. Hey, stop it! Who's a dead ogre mech? You're a dead ogre mech. Alright, let me just go find a spot where I can actually do this without getting spotted constantly. Verticality can be the meta, Kyle. As if it's like it's the one saving grace of cyborgs. Just stand on a rock. And they cannot hurt you. What a... Sir? There's a floating light here. Why did... What? You forgot to delete a light. Alright, well. Here you can see a UE5 spotlight in action, making the back of this T90 look bright. Hey, Kylo. It's going well, thanks. How are you? Just admiring spotlights that are not attached to anything. Wait, hold on here. Might be a good test. Yeah, nothing. Yeah, it's completely binary still. Even when we were like, we were close enough that us standing up and moving would aggro them, but our gun wouldn't. So yeah, silencers are still binary. It's either you have one or you don't. So that's the problem with silencers, right? Is like there's just no nuance between them, and just like it basically creates a scenario where, really, for the most part, you should just be rocking a silencer. And the reason why I like the Scar so much, right, is it kind of breaks that paradigm with how powerful it is. It provides a good trade-off, right, in the sense of you can find lots of 50 BMG, you can have a kitted out Scar, but it will never be silenced. So you can have the power of a 50 BMG Scar that just tears through enemies, but you're going to keep attracting enemies to you. And you will get overwhelmed, and you might eventually attract something that's big enough that it doesn't care about 50 BMG. So Nomad, the way the blowing up bridge works is it usually lasts for several hours in game, then you have to redo it. So for example, like when I do like the bridge on Ashen Mesa, is like, as you know, Ashen Mesa is locked off for the rest of the stream because it will summon a shield officer, Captain Chin, and in retribution. So and like if I went to, because the bridge is blown up right now, if I went back to Mesa, I wouldn't be able to do my tests probably because shield officer would spawn and start hunting me immediately. Yeah, it's called the M2 Browning. Mondoose. It's probably fair to, it's probably not right to call it a rifle, it's a machine gun. But it is a fully automatic 50 caliber rifle. It is rifled. but it's more of a machine gun that's, you know, not really, it's not really meant for infantry handheld combat. Though, I mean, considering Bagman's, like, clearly got cybernetic arms, right? I mean, okay, context. Fundog talked to Mike. Is his name Mike, right? I think it's Mike from Grand Thumb, right? It's his name, Mike. In regards to, like, putting weapons in their game. And the fact that we don't have in Maldeus yet is fucking criminal. Like, the Maldeus is eternal. I can tell you right now, it will, like, in 100+ years, that thing will still be in service. I think they cleared it up that they're not close to 1.0 yet. Yeah, no, I'll tell you right now, they did clear it up that they're not close to 1.0 yet. And just for some reason, they really like talking about 1.0 last Q&A. Did you just see how that Cyborg takes 21 shots to kill even with a headshot? It was only one headshot, I will say, but still, like, one headshot plus everything else. No, Matt, you'd be surprised, I would say. There are some very spicy rounds in 50 cal. Now, granted, you know, your bog standard Maldeus isn't going to be firing your spicy rounds. It can still fire pretty spicy rounds, but not your spiciest rounds, like slap rounds. Because I don't think Maldeus would handle slap rounds at all. I don't know, to be quite frank, but I don't think it would, just because the chamber pressure is insane. It would probably wear out the gun very quickly in full auto. But no, like, for the most part, well, Nomad, keep in mind, remember, Nomad, we can run up to a tank and kill it with a shotgun. Yeah, the MG3, basically, Kylo, yeah. Oh, so they do work on right? So that, you know, if we can kill, though, Nomad, if we can... Oh, okay, let's be honest here. An Opal would 100% get obliterated by an M2 with slap rounds. An Exo, 100%. Like, I would think of lots of enemies that would just suffer to a Maldeus with them too. Sure, you're not killing your Exos, right? Sorry, not your medium mix, right? But for anything smaller than that, 100%. And honestly, even if you can't kill an Exo, you can, or sorry, a medium mech, you can probably fuck up a lot of their shit with a lot of 50 cal rounds. With the spicy ammo, not necessarily ball ammo, right? Like, remember, like, I mean, I'm sure you've seen it, Matt. Remember, like, it was like maybe like a year ago now at this point when you had a Bradley versus a, like, was it a 72 or T90? And like, you know, according to most fucking things, a Bradley shouldn't take out a T90 or T72, whatever it was, right? But when you start going for the weak spots and the optics and everything like that, even if it's only 20mm, it will tear it down. So, like, remember the face of the Uruska medium mech is a bunch of, like, eyes and sensors? I could see M2 Browning just totally obliterating that. Sure, it might not be able to kill the creature, but it can probably incapacitate it. I will go ahead and admit my biases here. I'm American, so like the Maldeus is a religion. We literally threw it on literally everything, and we still do. It's the M2 Brownie, but it's called Ma Deuce. So like M-A, then Deuce. Like 2. Yeah, there's lots of like exposed like hosiery too on the medium mech you can't see. Especially Orgamex also, right? Like, Captain Shin without his helmet on. I would love to see Captain Shin get obliterated by M2 to the face. Alright, let's be old. But no, yeah, I do not see the case where like the M2 would, or the M2 would ever be irrelevant in the near future. Like the 50 caliber, like that, and there's reasons why there's tons of different guns in different countries that use basically the 50 caliber round in slightly different metrics. It's like the perfect like power versus like weight ratio, right? I'm not saying perfect, but like it's big enough to start carrying meaningful payloads, which is very important, right? And it's powerful enough to go through light armor. Also very important when you want like a general purpose machine gun. It's big enough to just go through concrete blocks and light fortifications and buildings. Also important. Hey, that cover that you're in, it might not be cover, it might only be concealment. Do we want to do a Cursed Mesa? We can do a Cursed Mesa. Yeah, Kylo, the thing about like ATGMs though, even simple ones, is those are like, considering if I go into a map and shoot a 20mm, we get HKs immediately. I feel like if you brought an ATGM or like even a simple like Panzerfaust or like any like RPG, you would immediately just get obliterated. Okay, so like, let's piece this together, right? So like Kylo, think of it this way. Explain to me why HKs are omniscient and ground it in some reality. Why are HKs omniscient? And I'm going somewhere here. Why, for example, will Captain Shin always know where I am and try to follow me around? Even without line of sight. Why is Captain Shin omniscient? Oh, lore reason. Well, technically it's both, Kylo. But like, what would be the lore consideration to make the in-game functionality of omniscience make sense?
Let them exhaust their ammo. That's
Because like that's kind of what you have to do sometimes too, right? Is like, hey, they present something to you. What givens do you have to give them to make what they're presenting to you true? Doesn't make it right, but like what makes it true? Huh. Curious. Oh, shield officer, you're so derpy. Not really, no. You can knock him down with a railgun, but not really. So what I'm getting at is, right, is that, well, keep in mind, he is just, he spawns and follows us now just because we blew up the bridge earlier over there, right? So, like, we don't have anything on us that would cause him to track us easily. So, reasons is to believe is that there's some surveillance going on that lets them track us. And that means that kind of that surveillance is always feels like it's here to some extent, right? It just depends on if we're if what we're doing or doing, like harrying, is warranting that surveillance. And considering, like, once we pop off around a 20mm, that surveillance seems to care about us a lot, it would reckon to believe that bringing in a Panzerfaust or an ATGM or anything of that capacity, that's a step up over 20mm in my opinion, would really attract that attention immediately. No, that's HKs. Yeah, like the red light on top of us right now is the HK light. When that red light's on, that means we have HKs. All right, Captain Chin, I think Captain Chin just killed an EXO. So, like, that's, like, yeah, maybe drones overhead or just some type of surveillance. Essentially, their omniscience seems to be from surveillance, right? I'm not saying that's the correct choice, but, like, that's what we have to rationalize to make sense of the omniscience. So it means that if we were ever supposed to, like, bring anything bigger in, it's more in the sense, Ricky, that you, like, remember, like, this universe is full of artificial intelligence, right? So, like, you already have facial intelligence in the game, or in the world, right, where people can get recognized by their face. So, if you have drones overhead scanning infantry for lethality, right? Like, you know, they might pick out, you know, infantry with ATGMs on as a high threat, you know, deal with, you know, risk. And it could logically be why we see no anti-tank deployed, right? On infantry. Because they would get killed so quickly, they just don't, like, they don't want to die. See, I'm not saying this is the right approach gameplay-wise, I'm just saying this is me, like, trying to rationalize what's currently existing in the game. I'm not saying I agree with it, I'm just trying to rationalize why it is what it currently is. So, like, essentially, you can assume that the enemies here have perfect battlefield intelligence. It's just always a question of, do they give a shit about you? And naturally, for enemies, right, it's a question of proximity and, like, if you're being belligerent with, like, noise and stuff like that, right? They might start caring about you. But if you start bringing things like, you know, that might threaten big boys, like ATGMs. Yeah, that's why we don't go to maps with the shield officer. So the shield officer has a quirk right now where sometimes he'll just teleport behind you and do that. So, yeah. Typically why I don't play maps with the shield officer present. That it's not, I don't necessarily agree with it, right? But I am just rationalizing why it might be the case in game. Yeah, I'd like, there's a reason why I don't go to maps once I do an objective that spawns a shield officer. It's also why I don't bother spawning a shield officer, to be honest. The shield officer is insanely buggy and will just teleport behind you sometimes. And one-shot you with a pretty large AoE radius. We haven't done Babel yet today. I can't recall. I don't even... I can't tell you whatever I have equipped for anything, right? I mean, which object we were using the M for, right, I think? We were using... I guess this is the RMR, it looks like? It's this one? Yeah, it's the ETEFX optic, I guess. Is that one we're using? Alright, Babel. No, so like Nomad, you weren't around for it, but like there was a very big performance patch, like I want to say 1 or 2 patches ago. I think it was 2 patches ago. But the way they accomplished it is they detached, and they were probably doing this with the shield officer too, because they knew they were doing this. They removed tick rate from infantry. I mean, Nomad, you might have been here for the different one though. There's all of the 3 patches for this like summer were all performance patches, but they each did it in their own way. And one of them was removing the tick rate from infantry, which one makes them move really quick around the map, but also just introduces a lot of like weird quirks with their animations. And it seems to be affecting the shield officer greatly. I'm not sure if he... The idea of him jumping around like the Hulk is kind of a fucking meme, to be honest, in my opinion. It's a lot. That's kind of all I can say about it. It is truly a lot. Let me bring a few drills to this map also. Yeah, I mean, there's jank that, like, it's always rough though, Ricky, when like, there's jank, but there's jank that ends up with you instantly dying. And in a game that has saves like Wasteland 2 or Fallout New Vegas, it's okay. But like when a game has like actual like if the game ever adds consequence to you dying, stuff like that's not okay. It's kind of okay right now just because like enemies, or right, rather dying doesn't have a giant negative consequence, but if they ever up that consequence, it would be really bad. Like, I honestly feel too like like the grenade launcher, Yoruska infantry are kind of not great either, but they're kind of okay. I don't mind the concept of high lethality infantry, but the way they go about it just feels kind of wrong, right? If they just point at you and the grenade launcher comes, it's just weird. It's one of those things where, like, in concept it feels like it's fine, but it's just iteration, like implementation-wise, it just doesn't feel exactly right. Alright, we go and start the extract before we keep going. Where is the sniper? I'll find him in a second, actually.
Way too hot here.
I mean, Callo, I agree with that sentiment, right? It is a balancing act, and sometimes you have to make lore considerations for gameplay reasons. Or rather, lore changes for gameplay reasons. At least in my opinion, right? But no, there are definitely some elements where I'm like, that, like, it might sound cool, doesn't make it fun, though. But I know where you're coming from. I kind of share that sentiment sometimes.
Don't get boxed in. Spread out.
Where's that sniper at? Did he already die? Are you the sniper? You were not the sniper. There you are. What do you mean? That was my kill. Oh wait, no one. I see you with your flashlight. I personally really want to raise the issue to them about they
Look for gaps, maybe.
I do not think they spent enough time after detaching tick rate from infantry on infantry movement. And it might be a slow and iterative process, but definitely one that needs to be addressed, because right now infantry have, yeah, those really weird quirks right now with movement. Wait, I saw red light. Were you not up here? Did you die? But Kyle, you have to keep in mind though too that like it is a huge performance drain. So I understand why they did it. It just has its own own caveats you have to address. I see. There you are. Hold still. Don't shoot back, please. Oh god. Oh god. I'm sorry. Why won't you die? All right, we're good. Who's shooting me? Stop it. You're not aggroed. You're not allowed to do that. All right, we're good. Wait, Ricky, what? Can you... No, I do agree with the concept that infantry need to move slower, to be honest. And like, infantry shouldn't probably sprint, or if they do sprint, it should be a lot slower. And like, honestly, my main, you might have been here for this, I'm not, maybe not. My main issue is more in the sense of that they make no noise when they do like these very aggressive sprints. So you generally can't hear them coming. I mean, it's a balancing act, Kylo. I mean, part of like the whole thing with like very artistic or like bespoke games like Tarkov, for example, was like a design choice or a decision that didn't necessarily seem popular at the time, but like actually like tracked with an audience eventually. I do agree with you. Like I definitely have even pushed back that I do think there's a balancing act there. But I don't think it needs to be the other extreme either, right? Where everything is a concession to gameplay considerations. It should always be in mind, but it's a balancing act. Do we have really any of those though? Like, can you give me an example, Ricky? I'm not sure if I'm following exactly where you're going with this. I need an example. Alright, we're good to go. Hello, cyborgs. Let's go the cool way. And by the cool way, the way that might kill me. Oh, we're good. Wee.
Another day.
Yeah, I have no idea, Nomad, because I haven't worked with AI before in UE5, but like, that's what the patch notes basically alluded to, right? Is they just removed I'm not sure if like, it might have been a very simple, like simplistic version they were giving us, but it sounded like they just, that was how they did performance, right? They just axed it or made it much simpler. And it makes sense too, considering how they move at Mach 1 sometimes. They've done movement changes here and there to make it a little bit more smoother. That was a big point of feedback they got constantly, was movement's bad, so like they've been trying to fix it. Like, they do pay attention to negative feedback all the time. Mainly, I would say Steam reviews is it seems like the main way they track with. I'm not saying they ignore feedback on Discord, but like they react heavily to the negative reviews on Steam. That's why they focus so much on performance, right? Is they've been constantly trying to address the feedback on performance is bad. And same thing with movement, right? Movement's been a very contentious issue in regards to feedback on Steam reviews, is like movement's bad. I don't disagree with that, no, but I'm just saying what they're doing. They're not taking individual Steam reviews, but they're taking the consensus from Steam reviews, right? Like, they're not looking at one Steam review and saying, hey, this is how, like, we should pay attention to this one person because they have good points. It's more of, they're looking at the Steam review data and saying, what are people complaining about the most? Like, what's the cause of negative reviews? That's just not games bad. It's performance was heavily one big of one, then movement, then, like, progression's a big one, too. Depth and stuff like so. Like, I would say performance and like movement been very two big issues. And then guns to some degree also, right? But guns are all over the place in regards to feedback, I would think. Like, you have the gun nuts, you just want more guns. You have me saying I would rather just have more interesting gunplay. Then you have the people who just want to make tactical guns that have no, like, actual... Like, you have the gun nerds, you have the people like me who want just pure gameplay considerations, and you have people, like, who just want to make cool guns that don't really care about realism at all. They just want to have, like, you know, attachment fun. The frozen swamp. Well, Ricky, the big thing to take note of, though, too, is this game does not have servers to offload any of the CPU workload to, right? So, like, a game like, if you've ever run SPT Tarkov on your machine, it hits your machine way harder. So, like, the ability to offload the AI and some of the brunt work to the server is a blessing that they do not have the luxury for. It's why I'm, for example, CPU bound in this game, not GPU bound. I'm running all high right now. I could go to low and not see any uptick in performance because I am not GPU bound on this game. I'm CPU bound because all of the AI in this game has to run off my machine, not off the server. Oh my god, Spectre. I don't currently own any firearms. I have had firearms in the past. Where I live right now, it is a bitch and a half to own firearms just because there's lots of land nearby that you are not allowed to have firearms on. Well, the only problems Soren, so the issue is I'm on 5th gen Ryzen, so 5000X. I could go up to an X3D, but like that's $300 to $400 for a multi-year-old CPU, and I would see potentially up to 20% uplift in some games, but not all games. And I would rather just put that $300 toward a new motherboard, new CPU, and new RAM, basically. It feels irresponsible for me to buy an X3D that's that old for potentially up to a 20% uplift, but not guaranteed. Why are you so fast and so silent? Yeah, but that wouldn't help me at all in games, though. I mean, if I'm trying to do editing stuff, which I mean I do occasionally, but like, there's no reason for me to own a Threadripper. I don't do enough production work for that, and it doesn't really help you out all game-wise. Yeah, like because I'm on 5th gen, so like if I want to upgrade, I have to go to the next generation platform. So that means new MOBO, new RAM, because like I'm currently installing DDR4. So like none of my stuff except for like the GPU and like the baseline computer stuff is, you know, basically transferable. It would be, I haven't looked into what DDR5's worth now right now, but like it would be expensive for me to upgrade. And it's just not worth it when everything runs perfectly fine on my machine right now. It basically would be. Laptop? Alright, so I guess in a different building downstairs.
Not quite the best, but not the worst.
Laptop? Nope, mask.
Looks like we rolled snake
If it's not in this room, it has to be over here. See you, Ricky. So you're painless? Are you referring to painless? There's a laptop, are you? No. So there's one more room. It has to be down near this room, I guess. Laptop? Where the hell is this? Hack the laptop in the water thieves camp. This is the water thieves camp. Is it up here? Where the hell is this laptop? I mean, potentially. Alright, room. Yeah, this room is clear. Moving on, next room. This room is clear. Moving over, that's explosives. Moving over here. This room is clear. Moving over here. Water, sure, why not? This room is clear. Sorry, sir, we're not here to rescuing you. Oh, we didn't check. There's 2 floors there. We didn't check the bottom floor of that one, I think. I think that's the only place we didn't check. There's 2 floors of this building over here, and then we didn't check the bottom floor, I don't think. So, bottom floor here. No. Okay. Go away. Where the hell is this laptop? Maybe it's like down the floor somewhere. It's not in here. Maybe like on the backside here, maybe? Nope. Hey, stop that. No, yeah, the sound could definitely use some work, to be honest. Lots of the sounds of running around and moving are just too quiet, in my opinion. Especially of enemies. Enemies are very dead silent. I could probably turn up the game audio a bit, but like it still gets muddled out by like I guess I could probably balance it, to be honest. I could probably balance it about a little bit better. Maybe I'll try that for next stream. I'll do some audio work and see if I can balance out the audio a bit better to see if like you can actually hear shit moving towards you. The only problem is going to be basically making sure the gun sounds don't get to the point where they're actually like deafening. I might be giving up here, to be honest. I can check up top one more time now. Yeah, storage is cheap. Like I know like people give this game a lot of shit for being large, like storage size wise. 1, it's not as bad as Ark. Granted, that's a very low bar. 2, storage is cheap. Yes, storage has never been cheaper. Okay, I generally am at a fucking loss here. I'll go up top, I guess, one more time and see if it's there. If not, we'll just move on. Yeah, I mean, I will say, me comparing it to Ark is like a very low bar. Ark is like a freebie. But then you have Call of Duty 2, and then you have, like, yeah. Plenty of games do be mean on storage space. Yeah, no laptops here. Oh. God fucking damn it. Now we know. Now we know where it spawns. Fuck you up. You know what? Is that a fucking Nokia? What's your brand? How are you? How? What the hell? Alright, tag cargo, which is at the train yard over here to the right.
We started something.
The Duel of the Ages. Dell does own Alienware. I have an Alienware monitor. Because I didn't buy it for Alienware, I bought it because Dell makes pretty good monitors. I'm not gonna say the best, but Dell does have good monitors. But no, my main monitor is an Alienware ultra wide. OLED too, fucking... they're expensive, but I will tell you right now, if you have a pretty good graphics card, the best thing you can do for visual fidelity is get an OLED. It's so good. Yeah, LG makes the actual monitors, yes. Like the actual panels are usually made from LG. And then Dell does the configuration and the calibration of them, yeah. And builds them together. But yeah, the panels themselves are usually from LG. Yeah, I mean, no matter, as all things do, it depends on your income, right? MSRP, this monitor costs me, I think, 1.12, like 1.2K with taxes and shipping. I haven't done many OLEDs, so I don't know. But like this monitor at launch, it was like one of the earliest monitors that had OLED. That was built for a gaming monitor. You could have OLED before with a TV that you use as a monitor, but if you wanted an OLED actual like monitor for like PC work, this is one of the first ones. And so it was 1.2K at launch. Now it's down to like $700. I think it's like $700 now. It's one of the cheaper OLEDs on the market. I think it's got a few revisions also. But it's the Alienware 32-inch OLED. It's 2K, but it's 2K ultra wide, so it's like 4K. Granted, I only usually run it on 16:9 just because of streaming. It looks beautiful on ultra wide, but like, you know, when I stream, I can't do ultra wide streaming. I could, but it would just look really fucking weird in your guys' displays. Do you guys like black bars? 21:9 is amazing. Yes, I really like 21:9 aspect ratio. It's quite nice. But like when I have a 3080 and a graphics card update would basically cost 1.5 to 2K, I would rather just buy a monitor, which is what I kind of did.
Zero fucks given.
Yeah, I mean, OLED was great back in the day because if you wanted to do OLED, you had to do a TV, and TVs were not built for that level of like static imagery. But they've essentially solved the like issues with burn-in now for OLED, which is, you know, crisp. It's very nice. No, we're just a shaman. No, it does do pixel cleaning and refreshing. Yes, there is some maintenance work that has to happen for them to like not have burning, correct? But it's basically, yeah, it's all pretty easy nowadays. I've had this monitor for like 3 years now, and I've had any instance of burn-in at all, despite using it regularly. RPK. Wait, let me get the actual... Okay, that's the right one. The thumbnail's out of date, unfortunately. So I gotta make sure I'm using the right one with the actual full capacity. There we go. 54R. Let's see here. We're not doing Mesa because Mesa's gross. We do Downtown, actually. Not killing an Exo. Kill Psychos, because why not? We can do Sewers again, why not? 2 water. Downtown. That will work. You bring some explosives in for that. Alright. And we'll start a pipe and work our way to the way. We need a drill, though, that we need to bring for the extract. That'll work. No, they're still expensive, but they've been coming down in price.
The surface provides
Like I said, the monitor I have right now is like 1.2K with shipping. Like 1.1 before shipping, I think, and taxes and stuff like that. And now it's down to like 700 or 800. So like even with inflation and like tariffs and stuff like that causing prices to kind of be wonky and go up, especially tech, it's still gone down in price sizably.
contact.
And like it's gone down in size sizably. No, man, I'm not saying it's not, but I'm saying it's come down. Like the point isn't about the current the price I paid. The price is the change in price over time. And so like they've gotten cheaper with more features. Like for example, the monitor I have right now is like 165 hertz, but the monitors they sell now is cheaper and is 240. And like once again, that's 2020 to 2025 with inflation and then with tariffs and all that good stuff, right? Where lots of tech have gotten more expensive, but OLEDs have decreased in price. I'm not saying they're not still expensive, but they have gotten cheaper. Let's go blow up some towers. Nomad, some of the cheaper monitors you can get for that. I think the cheapest I saw was 600 for a 27-inch OLED, if I recall correctly. I do think there are like an OLED, there's like a OLED monitor that goes for that, if I recall correctly. But it's not ultra wide. It's just like, I think a 27-inch. I looked it up a while, like maybe a week or two ago, so I might be wrong in this. As my memories might be a little bit hazy. But like there was one in the $600-ish range, if I recall. Hashtag tariffs.
Gold from the soft white underbelly.
Yeah, I mean, I can't speak to your specific scenario, Nomad. All I can do is tell you the way I've experienced it. And I can tell you things that I've experienced too, like I can see the price visibly going down over time. Like all technology, right? Over time it gets cheaper and more accessible. There's always the early adopter tax, and that's what literally I paid, right? I paid the early adopter tax because I was willing to, because I really enjoy OLED monitors and TVs. That didn't go on the right thing. So like that's always been a tax with tech, right? If you want the latest and greatest, you're gonna pay top dollar for it sometimes. Well, GPUs are the kind of a weird thing, right? Because GPUs are more about B2B as opposed to like, you are no longer the target demographic for those cards. All right, come on, you can do it. There we go. Like they're like they'll sell graphics cards to you if you're willing to pay, but really they're just trying to sell to other businesses for AI purposes, right? You're no longer the target market. Which, like, yes, it sucks, but at the same time, I am probably gonna go over into an AMD card next for that exact reason, right? Like one of the main selling points to me for Nvidia was that their drivers just worked, and that's no longer the case because they're no longer focused as they're more focused on AI than, you know, driver support for games. I've been pushed so many fucking shitty ass drivers by Nvidia recently, like they're no better than AMD. Like that was the pain point of AMD, right? Is AMD just had kind of mediocre driver support. And they've gotten better over time, and Nvidia's gotten worse. So I'm probably gonna do like AMD next for my card. There we go. Whee! I wouldn't say Intel purely just sucks, but Intel is so far behind the fight with AMD now. Because the tech they've been investing in just hasn't panned out for them. It hasn't been quick enough. It hasn't matured enough. Yeah. Well, like I have a 3080. I've had a 3080 for a long time now, but like I'm probably gonna not. I can't stomach buying a 5 series or a 4 series graphics card from Nvidia. So like if I have to upgrade in the near future, I'm probably gonna buy AMD. You know that is very true, GameShift. Intel has been fighting themselves for years now. They just have not been able to get off the ground with their newer products. Meanwhile, these guys are shooting each other over and over again. But no, I'll probably be all AMD, I imagine, next time I upgrade. barring like any like massive issues with AMD in the near future, like that's probably gonna be the case. I still actually do have hope for like Intel graphics cards though, by the way. Like Intel being a budget option for graphics cards is actually huge. I'm always pumped for more competitors. Because the more people competing in a market means better products for us, the consumer.
All science.
All right, water, come here.
Now bring it.
All right, we got in. Now we can leave. No, Soren, that's the issue now. And like that was always the big thing. Like for example, for a while, Soren, is that for like first day support, it was always better for Nvidia. But I'm telling you right now, that's changed. I would usually keep on the ball with Nvidia driver updates. I don't anymore because I've been burned in the last year by Nvidia drivers that I've had to roll back. Like, Nvidia is no longer the good at what they used to be good at because they're not really, like I said, we're not the target demographic anymore. So like when I have the, like when both options still have issues on day one support for games that aren't like, for example, like big games like Battlefield, they probably hire engineers for them, but anyway. Like, I'd probably just go over to AMD. Because again, I'll do my research when I'm actually going to be upgrading, which is not anytime soon. But, like, I mentally right now, I heavily lean toward AMD. See you later. No worries. Alright. We've done our work. Time to go drill into the sewers and leave. That's a lot of troops. I don't like that.
Do not allow yourself to be surrounded.
Who's just HK? Go get him. Go get him. Fucking conga line of soldiers. Don't mind me, guys. Girl. That's 20 seconds. Oh. Yeah, like you just like you have like the dystopian techno music in the background while like, everyone's murdering each other. Yeah. Anyway, may go round.
And now, home again.
All right. That's gonna be it for today, everyone. Thanks for watching. Still figuring out schedule-wise what we're gonna be doing here. I'm still trying to do 3 days a week, but days have to change a bit. I might be doing a Sunday stream. It's feeling like Tuesday's gonna be off or on. Friday's gonna be like the one day I'm gonna try to keep consistent. So Fridays is like almost the sure thing. Sunday I'll probably do normal time. I'll try to do normal time, and then yeah, we'll say Friday, Sunday, and then the weird day will be the like Tuesday, Thursday, I guess, and we'll just play it by ear. Other than that, take it easy, everyone. I'll see you guys Sunday, maybe? Maybe. Knock on wood. I might have to do other stuff Sunday, but we'll try to get a stream on Sunday. Other than that, new videos kind of in the works. I've been busy recently. If there's a patch next week, I'll be on for that. Hopefully it's Thursday, Friday, as they always been doing. That'll be great for me. But yeah, bye everyone. I'll see you guys hopefully maybe Sunday.